Got ourselves a replay from Rider Rohan on the Dark Elves versus Flying Taco's Tzeentch. Did say I was down bad for some good replays, and Rider Rohan said, "I got you, fam," and sent me this. Thought I'd check it out. Weird to seeing Flying Taco not on Lizardmen or Ogre Kingdoms, but he is playing some Tzeentch with his buddy Rider. So for Flying Taco, we have blue and pink fire on the Exalted Lord of Change. We have a blue horror frontline, exalted pink horror, and pink horror backline. Double flamers of Tzeentch and 4 screamers of Tzeentch as well. And all demon army, no mortal units. Who knows if he's memeing or serious? That is the majestic wonder of Flying Taco. On the side for Rider Rohan, triple Scourge Runner Chariot, Cold One Knights, a frontline of Dread Spears and Bleak Swords, and then the Sisters of Singing Doom with Crone Hellebron up on her Blood Cauldron mount. Various buffs for her, Fury of Cain and Gaze of Cain. And then we also have a Deathcaster with just Fate of Buna, in case of, I'm guessing, Changebringers or Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. But alright, Dark Elf's going to advance. Flying Taco falling back, but he might want to stop and shoot while he still can. He's not going to be able to outrun these guys, and his blue horrors are just going to get run down. Flamer's also turning to fire, but a good dodge here from Rider Rohan as his Cold One Knights fall back. Screamers of Tzeentch going to try and land on the Cold One Knights and Scourge Runner Chariots. The Cold One Knight's going to fall back a little bit. Tzeentch getting good damage out early, but you kind of expect that when someone has this much firepower, that they're going to start the game nice and ahead. When the melee starts is when you'll start to see Tzeentch fall a little bit behind, as Scourge Runner Chariots just rip straight through the blue horrors, knocking them down, dragging them along through the sand. The Bleak Swords, Dread Spears finally getting into combat. We have lost the entire Sisters of Singing Doom to Flamers and Pink Fire, I imagine. And then Cold One Knights, Fury of Cain rampages them straight into the enemy. Just a little bit of leadership keeping them in it, but then they fall down. We do have Pink Horrors getting hit with Fate of Buna. Pretty rough start here for the Dark Elves. But these blue horrors should die quickly to the Bleak Swords, who now have 57 melee attack due to the Gaze of Cain and Hellebron's various buffs. Chaos Fury Summon is out. Early game is going amazingly for Tzeentch, but you do have 2 Flamers. Flamers are crazy squishy, so if anything catches them, they will die nearly instantaneously. As the Dark Elves continue to get through the front line, blue horrors not holding for very long against the Pride of Cain ripping through them. And Flamers under attack by a couple Cold One Knights, other Flamers falling back, Exalted Pink Horrors and Pink Horrors running out of places to run as the sand wall rises up behind them. Hellebron is closing in. Scourge Runner Chariots are nearly a spent force. Their skirmish not so needed in this all-out blitz of a matchup. I'm sure they were there in case of like Soul Grinders or something like that. As Flamers of Tzeentch miss Hellebron on her giant chariot somehow. I do hate this unit. I do think it is very bad, and I feel justified watching them miss Hellebron from as close to point-blank range as you're going to get in the true competitive play. So the Chaos Fury Summon will fade away very soon. Elsewhere, Screamers are dying to the backup reserves of the Dark Elves that are trying to rally and get back into the game. The second Flamer is down as Cold One Knights run them to the edge of the map. Tzeentch is very far ahead on the balance of power, though I do have to think that this is about to get better for the Dark Elves. Do have some Exalted Pink Horrors that have gotten to safety. A lot of ammo, decent missile strength of 30. It's non-armor piercing Dread Spears turn around and present their silver shields, the incoming projectiles. Still have some Screamers left in the sky, and the Exalted Lord of Change wandering around a little close to Hellebron for my liking. Hellebron might want to just take that fight as the Exalted Lord of Change gets a pink fire off in the background, takes out almost an entire Dread Spear. That means he gets rid of his barriers right as Hellebron's about to fight him. Tier 3 army ability of Tzeentch already coming out, trying to hit multiple Bleak Swords that are busy hunting down the Exalted Pink Horrors and the Pink Horrors. But man, Tzeentch is really in love with colored bolts of magic this round. Pink fire, blue fire, tier 3 armor ability, all of these horrors shooting at stuff. Sisters of Singing Doom are back in this, surrounding some blue horrors of Tzeentch, should take them out soon. Hellebron beats the crap out of the Exalted Lord of Change and forces him away. He gets up into the sky as some more pink horrors fade away. Fate of Buna out onto these regular pink horrors, leaving the Exalted Pink Horrors to the mercy of the Bleak Swords and Dread Spears. Meanwhile, we have Cold One Knights and Scourge Runner Chariots fighting side by side to the last versus Exalted Pink Horrors and Screamers of Tzeentch. Exalted Pink Horrors have hybrid melee stats. They are okay melee combatants. Should be enough to take out these Cold One Knights since they're so depleted in fighting Screamers as well. But other Cold One Knights take their place, immediately charging back into the Screamers and trying to take those guys out as another pink fire goes down the Dark Elf reserves. Dark Elves very low on HP. Across the board, good land in here from the Exalted Lord of Change, causing some terror outs. Get rid of all these nearby troops. Exalted Pink Horrors and, yeah, both Exalted Pink Horrors have rallied near Exalted Lord of Change, regular pink horde, just about to demonic instability crumble, but not quite. Not quite, as the two elite pink horrors have rallied over here. I'm going to fire up and over into the Scourge Runner Chariots, who are continuing to cycle charge through these pink horrors, get some demonic instability going, and in goes a blue fire towards Crone. Hellebron herself gets a little bit of damage. Allied troop count's getting low, so is the enemy, to be fair. Getting some Cold One Knights back in the distance. Not sure how long they'll really manage it. These pink horrors are continuing to try and light up. Looks like they're aiming for the Fate of Buna caster. She's only cast 2 Fate of Buna so far, so if the game goes on forever, she will have a third one, though I don't know how close the third one is, and this game was looking like it's going to wrap up rather soon. Maybe won't be able to get a third Fate of Buna off, but would be nice to get it onto maybe this Exalted Pink Horror and just take it out for free while they're busy running down the other one. Another blue fire is out from Taco onto Crone Hellebron. More pink fires, lots of spells. The Exalted Pink Horrors try and run away. Rampage out for the Scourge Runner Chariots from the Fury of Cain. It does give them extra melee stats as Cold One Knights, as Dread Spears close in to help out these Scourge Runner Chariots and just keep the Exalted Pink Horrors on the back foot. Ryder is trying to attack 2 different pink horrors at once, which is usually smart, but the only thing I mentioned it for is if he had Fate of Buna close, he should focus all of his efforts on one and just Fate of Buna the other. This tells me he doesn't have a lot of Winds of Magic. Or if he does, then he really shouldn't be splitting his focus like this. But this is something you do if you don't have a Fate of Buna ready. Cold One Knight, Sisters of Singing Doom, and the Sorceress all trying to kill this last Screamer. Ooh, there's another Screamer in the distance. That's problematic. And there goes another Gaze of Cain out. Dread Spears getting a whole bunch more melee attack and leadership, trying to keep them from terror outing while the Pink Horrors get hunted down by the last of those Bleak Swords. Still, these Exalted Pink Horrors have 2,000 HP up here. Wonder if we'll get a Fate of Buna for them, because you definitely should not Fate of Buna only 9 models of Screamers. Much better to use that on the Exalted Pinks. Other Exalted Pink is fading away. Balance of Power has stabilized for the Dark Elf, just under 50-50. And here they catch the Exalted Pink Horrors very close to getting them in Demonic Stability Crumble as the Cold One Knights and Hellebron deal with these guys. We're getting to a pretty scary point. What is that aiming for? That is going for the Fate of Buna caster. Not worth it. At this point in the game, there's nothing left to really Fate of Buna, so who cares about her? Every blue fire you should get should go into Crone Hellebron. There is a Fate of Buna onto the Screamers. It might finish them off. Might. It is still a very powerful spell, but with only 9 models, who knows how much damage it's actually going to do. Looks like just around 80 damage a tick, or 20 ticks, should kill the Screamers anyway, so it looks like it will end up being a good cast. Yeah, 400 HP left. Those guys are just about toast. Hellebron is in, but so is a tier 3 army ability of Tzeentch, and the Screamers are not giving up just yet. They dive in. The Terror plus the Sky Charge is enough to get rid of the Cold One Knights. Tier 3 army ability is hitting. Hellebron will take some of these bolts as she duels with the Exalted Lord of Change in the fires. Balance power is about 50-50. Hellebron's still fighting it out with the Exalted Lord of Change. She has way better stats, 3850 compared to her. Ooh, I thought she had more than that. 3028. Guess she's not that scary after all. And she's taking hit after hit. Blood Shield of Cain not helping her. Actually, yeah, taking the Blood Shield of Cain, I don't know if that's a passive from her altar or whatever, but her physical resistance is negligible versus Tzeentch. Nothing does regular damage. Everything does magic. Exalted Lord of Change is completely surrounded. Hellebron's fighting it out. Another Gaze of Cain is down. 900 HP left for her. She has buffed up everybody around her quite a bit. Not herself, but everyone around her has been buffed up. And Cat, don't snuggle the microphone. Don't do that. Hey, knock it off. Exalted Lord of Change is down to 2000 HP. Bounce power's back to 50-50. It looks like this is about the sealed deal. 10 leadership left on that guy, and the rampaging forces of Cain all just have so much melee attack. They're getting through this Exalted Lord of Change. He's down to 1600 HP. Gets one hit onto Hellebron. 600 HP for her. She causes terror, so she is immune to terror, but all of a sudden, all of her minions start to rout. She starts to rout, and just like that, maybe the Exalted Lord of Change has it. 1500 HP as he charges through to Hellebron. She's down to 270 HP. Cold One Knights shatter off. Hellebron dies, leaving us all on our own. Sisters of Singing Doom cause terror, so they cannot be terror routed, but the Sorceress with them can, and they can naturally rout. And out of nowhere, the Exalted Lord of Change clutches it out at the last moment. I love how he went from 3000 HP to 1500 without getting any good hits in, and then all of a sudden hits Hellebron twice, terror outs everything else. Very close game from these two, as I am attacked by a cat. Hello, cat. Hellebron did fine, Fate of Being Cast did fine, Scourger and Chariots got decent value, Cult of Knights did fine. Sisters Singing Doom did not get a lot done, unfortunately. Pink Fires took them out. Crazy close game, so everything's going to get a lot of value. For Flying Taco, his Lord did fantastic work. Blue Horrors struggled a little bit more. Pink Horrors also struggled. Exalted Pink Horrors did okay. Screamers, solid value overall. And the Flamers of Tzeentch, unfortunately, not great value. GG.
Subscribe, yes, yes.